Say two.
Hey fellas, how are you? Brian, Phil, Craig on Zoom. I'm Buffalo Jack, and welcome to the third episode of the PEEKSKILLMUGS podcast.
Yeah, so we're coming to you live-ish, I guess, from the Beaverdale Campground and Hotel in East Branch, New York.
Right.
Craig wishes he could be here with us, but he can't. So he's
that
on
happens.
the screen.
Yep. But he's
really with him.
That's right.
he's still with us in spirit and
That's
actually
right.
here as well.
But before we get started, I just want to do a shout out to my nephew Timmy from Kernersville, North Carolina, who's a Jet fan just like Craig.
And me, I'm a Jets fan.
Yeah.
I'm just a Browns fan first.
He's a poor bastard too. Whatever, it happens.
These guys just love suffering. Suffrage.
That's right.
But what
So,
can I say? I'm a Lions
anyways,
fan.
Timmy, shout out to you, brother.
All right, so I guess let's talk about our picks from last week.
Oh.
Let's see.
We should save that for last because mine was so bad.
Well, somebody forgot to bring the Clever Plum Award.
Which
That's
that
right.
was on me.
That's right.
But,
And-
because it has to go to this other guy, Buffalo Jack.
Well, I won because I went way out on a limb and took the Ravens, the Seahawks, and the Bills. Way out on a limb.
Yeah, he really went on a limb on those. Absolutely.
How's that bread?
So, let's see. Last week, my stretch, I had taken the Saints over the Lions. Or the Lions over the Saints.
I was going to say, yeah, that's the other way
That was
around.
dumb. But I don't know if you remember, but I casually mentioned, hey, well, let's see what these Eagles do with these 49ers.
That's right.
Pulled that one out of my ass. So while
Yes.
it doesn't count, I had a good stretch. And then my other two picks, Colts over Bears and Vikings over Texans, pulled those together too. So
I was 0 for 3, so I have nothing positive to say whatsoever.
That's right.
And my stretch was the same like Brian's. It was the Lions over the Saints.
Yeah.
And we all see how that went.
Well, the Lions broke a new NFL record.
And guess whose record they broke?
Their own.
Their own record. For a team that has double-digit leads that loses, it is the Lions. They
Yeah.
have broken their own record.
Yep.
And when Ed actually called and said, hey, the Lions are up 14-zip, I was like, that's not enough. They're going to need at least 35.
they're
It's
gonna
never
That's
enough.
exactly what the score was for the other way around with the
Well,
Saints. So,
you know what? They're not going to lose this week.
you know why?
Yeah, I do.
They're on a bye.
They're on a bye.
So
It's
they
a bye
won't.
week.
So before we jump into, well, actually, Craig, what were your picks last week?
No, I think I remember the quote was, I really don't give a shit.
Oh, that's right. He was, I don't give a shit, Craig.
That's right.
Right.
He had no picks.
So before
Yeah.
we get into this week's picks, I wanted to just touch on the fact the Texans fired Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably they started 0-4. They have so many pieces of talent around them,
Yeah.
and they can't finish any games. So now they're going to be turning to who else but Romeo Cornell, former
The
Browns.
Browns
coach.
coach, yeah.
He's
There you go.
He was a disaster.
So they're going to go undefeated from here out in.
I think so.
Well, that keeps his record the same, right?
Yes.
If I remember correctly, our winless season was under Cornell. Craig, are you sure about that? There?
The Browns having a winning season.
Yeah. Remember when I think Romeo Cornell was the coach at that point.
He's going to be the only team to ever put the game, right?
Yeah, he is.
So how can the Texans think? Yeah. So Bill O'Brien was rubbing people the wrong way. Got in an argument with Watts, and he was 0-4. But you replace him with Romeo Cornell, and you have the balls to go out there and say, you know what? We're going to stick with Cornell for the rest of the season. They're not even going to try.
They're not going to look for anything else. I'm not sure what that's all about. That's absolutely crazy to me.
I was talking last week about Adam Gase and how I would fire him during the season. He just doesn't work out. Greg Williams had a great run a few years ago with the Browns. At the end of the day, they're not gonna hire a Romeo Cornell.
Right.
He's been there, done that. He's going to get these guys through the season, and they're way too talented. Which brings me to a question, actually. I was looking at the numbers. There's 4 0-4 teams right now. Jets, Giants, Texans, and
Who else is winless?
Yeah.
I forget.
The Falcons?
49ers?
The Falcons.
Falcons
It's the Falcons.
The Falcons are 0-4.
Who had the best chance to break the streak? Like the Jacksonville Blues, Jets are playing the Cardinals, Giants are going to Dallas, and the Falcons are hosting Carolina.
Right.
think they all do that. No one.
Well, speaking,
What
I
a
mean,
race to always be competitive.
well, let me give you my stretch though, just because I think it's relevant.
You're talented. Deshaun Watson is way too good. They have J.J. Watt. They have talent. They're going to win. They're going to win. The country team.
Sure.
That later when we make our pick.
Well, they're giving Houston 6 points going into this weekend's game with, who the hell are they playing? The Jaguars, which is one of my locks. I'm taking the Texans for a lock. I'm taking Cowboys over Giant as a lock. And my stretch is Jets over Cardinals.
Ooh.
It's time to win a
Woo!
game.
Yeah.
That's a wicked stretch, man.
Yeah.
That's a wicked stretch. Mine this week, as far as long shots, this week I have it's going to be it's a really long shot, but I'm going Bengals over the Ravens at the Ravens home. That's a big time stretch, but I'm going for it. I feel it. I definitely feel it. I like the way Burrows has been playing. He's been doing great. I also have the Chiefs over the Raiders as my lock also, as well as the Rams over Washington. So that's the ones that I got. And my stretch, like I said, is going to be the Bengals over the Ravens. We'll see.
Yeah, actually, I'm going with the Cowboys over the Rams myself. Right? Is that the Giants?
Oh, the Giants over the Cowboys. Giants over the
Time out.
Cowboys.
The Giants over the Cowboys. They will no longer be 0-4.
That was week 2, Jack. How many?
Yeah, I know, right? It's been a long day, Craig. But I will take the Rams over the Washington Redskins, though. Absolutely.
Holy shit, there's Mark.
And I'm definitely sticking with the Bills
Great.
over Tennessee, even though the game's not until Tuesday night. But I'm still going to take them as long as they play.
As long as they play.
They're minus 8.5.
Yeah.
What do you got, Craig? What's your picks?
Brian Brown and the Colts. The Browns are the highest scoring team in the AFC. The Colts have given up the least amount of points in the AFC. It might be give them a point. The Colts and actually give them a point in the dog pound. That is disrespectful.
Yes.
Odell is good to have one of his better years. He's starting to come out.
Yeah, well, we got Nick Chubb's out for the next 6 weeks.
Wow, he's out for 6 weeks?
Yeah.
But I think the Browns
Knee
win by
issue for him, too.
touchdown. Who's the other guy I had? I was looking at the Battle of Pennsylvania. The Steelers are favored by 7 over the Eagles. And you know what? I think they're going to cover that one. They're at home. The Eagles look like they're lost. Ever since they got rid of Nick Foles, the backup, starting quarterback, they're lost. But I think the Steelers are on a mission this year. Big Ben's back. He doesn't have much time left. He wants to get deep in the playoffs, whatever. But we'll see what happens there. And then my last pick, I have Panthers going to Atlanta, beating the Falcons. Because Robbie Anderson, the XGX, probably have 3 touchdowns. And then Dan Quinn gets fired.
Well, I mean,
Wow,
those are good things.
Those are all
good things.
All good things.
Absolutely.
The reason why Quinn won't get fired is because Art Blank, Mr. Home Depot himself, the owner of the Falcons, he's a nice guy. Like Grandpa Art, he's not going to get rid of him, but he should. Because they lost 2 games when they were leading by 15 points in the fourth quarter. How do you say?
Sounds like Detroit.
Yeah, right?
Well, I was going to ask you, Bennett, what
They might have that record, but they've never lost 2 games by 15 points in the fourth quarter, because that's a 99.5% chance of winning, according to whoever the hell makes up these freaking numbers.
Stats like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were a stat man though once, weren't you, Craig? Down in Bama.
Yeah. But I'm not this analyst, so I can look at the numbers and look at trends, and like, oh, this guy hits left.
Right.
This guy hits. So that type of stuff, not this whole probability.
Well, I noticed that, speaking of probabilities, I noticed on the Fantasy Wire this week he picked up Le'Veon Bell. Is he actually going to play?
No, I think he's out.
And he got activated. Today.
Oh, he did?
Did he really? Oh.
And then Flacco, is he going to be the long-term solution, or is they just putting him in for a couple days?
He's 10-year extension right now.
Well, they might as well.
You're right now. Before the game tomorrow. Good luck. Happy King Carl. the ticker at the bottom of the TV. You know, black on 6-year extension, yeah, for $140 million. Yeah, that's me.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, that's not likely to happen.
So speaking of the Jets being really good, you know, I was tuning into the power rankings early in the week to get stuff together.
Yep.
I see the Bills are now number 5.
What?
Yep. With a
Number
91.7% chance of making the playoffs.
That's great.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
The Lions are 25th with a 5.1%.
5%
And
chance.
rolling out the bottom is number 32, the Jets, with a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs. Craig, I think it's a lock.
Oh, absolutely. Just
That's
end, just end the season now.
And hey, I'll give you
Hey,
one.
where are the Browns?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah,
right.
where are the Browns?
Where are those guys?
The Browns, 3-1 for the first time, ever. Are ranked number 14, and they have a where is this? 67.8% chance
That's
to make
good.
the playoffs. I say end the season now. Everybody
That's right.
gets COVID. Browns win the Super Bowl by default.
That's right.
And we'll feel good.
And everybody will
That's
feel
right.
good. Everybody will feel great.
How about this?
Well-
Joe has a 91% chance of getting the first and pick overall.
Jets.
I think it's 99.8% like.
Yeah, right.
And another ruined career for fourth undrafted
Yeah,
guy.
you know.
Oh, well.
And they have such a great quarterback.
Right.
Good.
So we had.
I hope we weren't kidding.
Oh no.
No, I'm not. No,
Not kidding at all.
no, he's a great quarterback.
Yeah, I'm gonna
just
turn-
on a lousy team.
Let's just turn off the camera for Craig. He doesn't need to hear us anymore. All right, so listen, we're here at this campground, and there's some other stories that.
In the background. That's
Yeah, Ed's back there looking at the camera. So just to be a little bit more homey,
Yep.
I thought. Well, we talked about this in a production meeting. Like, let's talk about why we're the fans of.
eating napkin or
Well, yeah, we were just drinking. So let's talk about why we're fans of these teams, because we're
Yeah.
all living in New York.
That's
Right.
true.
I would have to think we'd love to see the Jets play better.
Yeah.
And frankly, I love that the Giants are the worst. I
Yeah.
can't stand them. So let's start with you.
Okay. Well, actually, I started out as a Giant fan as a little kid. Favorite player, Homer Jones, Tucker Ferguson, the whole Baby Bulls, Chuck Mersin. Loved it. That's what we got on TV up in Sackett Harbor,
right,
New York.
right.
And then all of a sudden, they started showing a little bit of the Bills game. And when O.J. Simpson broke the record playing against the Steelers, I believe, that turned me back on to the Bills. Yes, I was an O.J. Simpson fan, and it is. And then I moved down to New York City, and all my buddies down here on Metro North Railroad, they were Bills fans. And then Jim Kelly came along, loved Jim Kelly.
Oh, God.
And then I just started following big time. And yeah, that's how I started.
Craig, what about you? Why are you a diehard Jets fan?
because I was negative 15 years old, and my dad and his grandpa went to the Titans game at the Polo Ground, and they were like, "This is awesome." And the Jets and Titans that night in San Diego, and he got tickets that day.
Nice.
And seriously, we still get all the correspondence at my dad's house, and it still has X Webster, and he'd be 130 right now. I'm not lying, dude. I am not lying.
Wow.
So we started off going to J.C. with 14 of us to Winnebago. I think we had like 12 tickets between myself, my family, and my dad's sister and her kids. So we drive down to Winnebago. Me and my brother Kyle, when we were younger, we were like 2 and 3. They wouldn't let us in.
No.
Yeah.
Cousins in the Winnebago. Now is the time you can actually go in to Shea Stadium with your ticket, leave, give your ticket to somebody else, and they get right back in.
Wow, like
Which
a
is
movie,
great.
like going to the movies in the 80s.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
We learned the ATS there.
Sneak in through the trunk.
It smelled like, beer tasted like, every 4-letter word in the book by the time I was 5 because of the Jets. And I just stick with them, you know? And we still have tickets to this day, which is awesome. Brian, you've been down to games.
Oh, yeah.
You've been to tailgates.
I've been there, yep.
Yep.
I mean,
I've never actually been to a Jet game.
They're the best.
We got Bart Starr's autograph one time at Shea Stadium because that's when you could just hang outside and they would sign. And I asked when I moved to Alabama, got the meat market started. It was like so miles from me. Trust me, we had a house. I lived in like a shack. Like,
It's all you needed. It's all you needed.
Yeah,
Right?
gated community
yeah.
to a trailer.
I also learned to like, paint on myself, apparently, because I stuck with them and I would never get away from them. Even though we have inspection yesterday, tickets, nope.
Well, you know, and that's when I got to New York. I mentioned in the first episode, I adopted the team that reminded me the most of the team back at home. And so that's when I became a Jets fan. I've been here for over 12 years now. I try never to miss a Jets game. Some wonderful tailgating. But I'm going to tell you what, Craig. New York tailgating's cute. Real tailgating happens in Cleveland when you're having like 92 inches of snow a year. You know, some of that's falling on game day.
That's right.
That's when it's fun. Here, it's just like rain.
We have good food, but we don't have like. No, we're not crazy.
Yeah.
It's too New York, New Jersey.
Yeah. You guys are not the Buffalo. You guys are not the Buffalo Mafia.
No, table breaking and things like that.
Come
Not
on,
at all.
man. That's the best tailgate in the
I'll
country.
tell
That
you
is a
what,
good time.
I'll take you to a tailgate to Cleveland. You take me one to the Bills.
Deal.
We'll meet in the end, all right?
Absolutely.
And see
I
how it
will.
goes.
I will so throw you into that table.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you'll be that drunk. There's no doubt about it.
Off the top of a trailer,
Yeah, right. Boop.
All right,
like off the
Bill,
top.
Give us the rundown here.
Oh boy. So, I became a Detroit Lion fan this way. Living in the city, my parents always hosted Thanksgiving. So there was always the Lion game that came on at 12:30, right after the Thanksgiving Day parade, even to this day. So I would only watch like a little bit of that Lion game before there would be like something special that happens on Thanksgiving, like the King Kong Marathon or Godzilla versus Megalon or any of those things.
Right, of course.
At which point, my cousins who would come over, we would go to the back room and hang out in my parents' room and watch that TV. So for years, all I got to see was maybe the first quarter of any football game, really, because my father wasn't a big football fan.
Right.
And eventually, we moved from the city to Greenburgh. There, now all kids there, all of them have favorite baseball team, football team. And one day, they're like, hey, what's your favorite team? Oh, Joe says his favorite team is the Steelers. Actually, Tim Brinkley. Then you have a guy like Chris Lynch who says the Giants, right? Then you have Jet fans, you have Steelers, you have everything else.
Sure.
So it says, Phil, who's your favorite team? I said, well, my favorite team is the Lions. And all the kids turned to me and said, like, who? What?
What?
They don't play football. I'm like, yes, they do. They play every Thanksgiving.
And
And
that's
they're
it.
like, no, they don't. The Cowboys play that day. And I'm like, no. It was a whole big thing. So I could have changed at any point in my life, but I never did. So I just stuck with the same team, and I'm stuck with the Lions.
And
You gotta stick with the team.
You gotta stick with the
absolutely.
team.
Absolutely.
Even
Gotta
though
stick
I
with
was 8 years old, I stuck with them. I could have
Yeah.
easily gone to any other team.
Sure.
you know,
Well,
but
I mean, all the
I
kids
stuck.
around my area were wearing Cowboys starter jackets.
it. Oh yeah, America's
And I
team.
was horrified by it. And listen, I'm far enough out of Cleveland that I start getting Steelers fans and stuff mixing
Yeah.
in.
Right.
But the real fans are the Browns fans. Like those
Oh,
kids
yeah.
were antidepressants by the time they were 8 or 9.
Right.
Factory of Sadness is Cleveland.
Yeah. And Jimmy's down in the city
Yeah.
on 31st, I believe, in Lex. That's the Browns bar.
You know, there used to be
That is
another
a serious
Browns
one.
bar up in Yorkville. I guess 90th and First Avenue-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in there, 6 months later, and it's a Steelers bar.
Oh
And
boy.
how in the fuck do you go from being a Browns bar to a fucking Steelers bar in a season?
Steeler fans are everywhere. Cowboys fans everywhere. Apparently, in
They're all trash.
Midtown Manhattan, Charlie Hill, there's a lot of Browns fans because that whole bar, they're all Browns fans.
Oh, trust me, in that bar it is.
Yeah.
The only time that you go to the bathroom there is when the Browns has the ball. So you
Right.
get into it because they're all watching.
Otherwise, you're not
you're
going
not.
to get
Yeah,
in
you're
there.
not getting into the bathroom.
We're still
Yeah.
rolling, right, Phil?
Should be.
Hey,
Want to make sure.
Oh, maybe not.
Jack,
Yeah, Craig.
actually, when you said the OJ thing, it just sparked a memory in my head. It was actually against the Jets where he hit 2000. Because my dad was at the game. What was it, like 1972 or 73 or something? Because my
Yes.
dad tells that story. Because that's the thing. Like, he was at that game. I was at the Monday Night Miracle. I was at, like, other crazy games like that. But that one, I remember him telling me, I think he broke it against the Jets, and that just makes perfect sense. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys. When it came to being a Browns fan, it was, and I've said it was just factory of sadness, of course. But listen, I didn't care that much about football growing up. I was a baseball guy. And then we were playing pretty good. It was 94-ish. I think Vinny Testaverde was our quarterback. We had recently gave away Kozar for a steal. And we're in the middle of a season, and all of a sudden, Art Modell, you're in hell. Don't worry.
Yeah, right.
Decided they were taking the team out. And I watched this city burn, just emotionally burn.
Yeah.
And you ripped the heart out of the city.
Right.
It made lifelong Browns fans just watching your fellows.
He did it. Yeah, he did it at nighttime, right, or something like that. It was just like moved him out, and
yeah, I mean, he came to the locker room and like right before the beginning of the game and said, "Hey, you know what? We got a good record here."
right.
And they never played good again from that point forward.
You wanna know something about that too? And you could thank Art Modell for putting Bill Belichick on the map, because that was Belichick's season with Cleveland. And whatever, like he was 5-11 that season or whatever it was, they packed up. Belichick had no job. Next thing you know, he's coaching with the Jets. He leaves the Jets overnight, just like Modell did.
Yeah.
Right.
He learned something from him, and the rest is history.
Well,
But yeah,
they did a nice 30 for 30 or one of those NFL film shows on the 95 Browns leaving. And Bill Belichick was one of the few coaches that actually left the organization when it became the Ravens.
Yep.
But that playbook that he turned around and won a Super Bowl with was his 95 Browns playbook. Like there was very little changed of it. But you also look at some of the other coaching staff there. I mean, like Nick Saban was our defensive coordinator at that point.
Sure.
I heard he did pretty good in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
And
quite good.
now Bill Belichick, now he's making
30 tonight. Let's go.
And smiling.
and smiling.
Smiling.
But I'll tell you what, I remember, so the last game at Brown Stadium was a big deal. And the night before, my grandmother, she would occasionally take us to Playhouse Square. We went to see the Nutcracker. And I got to have a steak at Ritz-Carlton. I'm like, well, this is high class.
Yeah,
Yeah,
high,
it is.
yeah, right.
And then the next morning we go out to the tailgate for the Browns, and we're just getting a bratwurst. And I remember biting into that bratwurst, thinking, this is way better than this Ritz-Carlton steak, because
Right.
there is so much love and spirit like in this
Yeah,
place. But one funny fact about that game, they had to stop play at the 50-yard line and turn people around, because everybody was taking all the benches from the end zone and throwing them out on the field.
What?
So that last game,
That's crazy.
The last game at Shea Stadium, last game of every season was like that. We used to get us on the field. We would literally get on the field and walk on the field. And I remember the Jets were 3-12. The Saints were 0-15. The Saints won to go 1-15. Jets went 4-12. They were 4-11. Some kid decided, I remember this because I was 6 years old, but I remember this vividly because it was traumatic. Some kid steals a Saints helmet from the sideline and tries to run all the way across the field to the Jet sideline and climb into the stands. Well, these guys are in the NFL. They're going to catch you.
right?
Kid threw him against like the padded wall behind the Jets. He got pretty far behind the Jets where the benches are, and then took the helmet back. The cops did nothing.
Well,
You try to steal from the Saints? Good luck with that, buddy.
That's right.
Well, one final thought about that last Browns, Steve. So remember I mentioned that we had unloaded Bernie Kosar.
Yes.
Right.
That left them with an additional draft pick when the Ravens began.
Oh,
So they
okay.
had 2 first-rounders. That pick became Ray fucking Lewis.
Oh,
What?
So the Browns organization gave them an extra pick, and they got Ray Lewis, who decimated the AFC.
He
Yeah,
was a
North.
little
defensively.
crazy, though.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy, but
but he was one of the best and scariest players of that time.
Yes.
Scariest players, scariest people.
Actually, I think he chased my buddy Jason down the hall in a hotel room.
Yes, he did.
He
I
did.
forgot how that story
Yeah,
started.
me
but he
either.
did.
But that's a story for
Yeah.
another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone
Chasing
knocked on
somebody.
his door and he thought it was Jason, and
Jason
Yeah.
ran, and he was
Jason
like, "Oh, the
ran.
guy went over there."
It's one of these cats.
All right, well, I just got a couple other
Coming to you.
honorable mentions, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
First off, remember I bet you I decided to start Burrows instead of my
Yes, you
actual
did.
quarterback.
Right.
Well, Burrows got 17 points, and Minshew got 24.
We got 24, right?
But I believe Handler beat Phil 109 to 105, so it didn't fucking matter
It didn't
anyway.
matter.
That's right.
But it made it more interesting when it was that close.
I beat Phil this week too in the Stacey Court
This
League.
is terrible.
And I play
Damn.
Bennett this week. So I'm playing. I got to go check my teams, actually, Craig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I'm kind of worried about my team with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs because they play on Tuesday night,
Right.
or will they just cancel the game altogether?
At this point.
You know,
At this point,
So
right now I'm just going to keep them in and
And see
and
how
hope
it
for the
goes.
best.
My
Roll the
wife went
dice,
through the
baby.
same thing last week. She had to just fill in, and I think she ended up winning her game against Pooh, I believe.
Yeah.
You gotta be very careful with that, though. You have to monitor that. If they don't play on Tuesday, you get like.
Well, there's no extra positives right now, which brings me to this New England Broncos game. Like, the Broncos had Cam Newton, or Denver had Cam Newton. New England had Cam Newton test positive and Stephon Gilmore. And then the NFL saw backup quarterbacks lose to the Chiefs.
Right.
New England hasn't had a positive test since Thursday, but they lost 2 days of practice, yet they still moved the game to Monday night against the Broncos. Yes, it gives Cam Newton an extra day to come back because the NFL loves it when the Patriots are good, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking that they've been kind of screwing with them a little bit this year.
well, no, they screw them off the field type stuff.
Right.
Like,
That's what I was trying to say.
you get a slap on the wrist for, deflate gate, you lose a draft pick, this and that. But on the field, they get every penalty call, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? Like, the Broncos practice, they had nobody test positive, so why are you moving the game? Like, Bill Belichick had a lot of time to review that illegal taping of the Broncos practices. He should be
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
sure did.
Hey, speaking of, it feels like we're on sad subjects. The Yankees got knocked out of the playoffs this week.
Yeah, they did.
Stanton, though, had a few home runs that are still circling the planet. I think the one was 500-footer plus, exit velocity of 118.3 miles per hour.
Oh my.
Really? That's
Yeah,
what they
I
clocked
mean-
that as.
I mean, you looked at this ball. The fact that it even had leather on it is amazing. At that
That's
point.
amazing.
It was beautiful.
That's like me when it's 11:58 and I'm still on Main Street and it's 11:59. I got to get there, 118 miles an hour.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
So yeah,
This Yankees team,
Tony Francona is going to come back to the Cleveland Baseball Club next season. Shocking because he didn't end the season at all. Sandy Alomar was in there.
For what
and then
team?
Cleveland Baseball Club.
Oh, okay.
Cleveland Baseball Club.
Oh,
And then, so we gave Padres Clevenger, really great pitcher, and he was missed the first series of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they finally put him in this week. 24 pitches later, he was out for the season. It breaks your heart. It breaks your heart.
You can see
No,
the really
he tried to
sincere.
kill everyone. By the way, did you watch that Yankees game last night?
What's that?
Did you watch a Yankees game last night?
Oh no,
No, we
there
did
was,
not.
there was no watching that.
I'll get to this. I'll get to it. Brasso, whatever his name is, he's the guy Chapman threw in the vicinity of his head earlier in the season. Chapman's going to be suspended 2 games in 2021. The guy went down 0-2 in the count to start the bottom of the 8th. Fouled off pitches, took a ball, fouled off. What does he do? 10th pitch, home run. Yankees did not score in the top. The Rays advance.
Yep.
The Yankee season in one word is failure because
That's the end of that story.
Well, this whole season was basically a failure.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
mad
mean,
at
I was just looking at it. They have a lot of
What was it? Half a season?
Gary Sanchez.
That wasn't real baseball.
No, not at all.
Look. Here's the thing. The Rays have been good for so long. I was looking at the numbers. Garrett Cole, he did what the Yankees paid him to do. He won he's never been really good against Tampa, but he won the first game, game 1, and then he came on 3 days rest and shut him down. He gave it 1 hit. It happened to be a home run, but he gave it 1 hit solo. His adjusted salary is $13.3 million this year. the 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 Braves starting lineup from last night, adjusted when from COVID, whatever, 60 games, is 8.1. The whole lineup, the whole freaking lineup, the 9 batters and the pitcher, 10 players, 8.1. That's what I like. Those guys. Do I like the analytics of baseball now? They're doing this? No, but I want guys who are gonna like the overachievers. Like they have a bunch of if you like the Yankees, you see Luke Voigt, you see Gio Urshela. They have like 30 of them in their in their clubhouse. It's the guys who are they were top prospects. They're not making $10 million a year. They just play baseball. And right now, they're a better organization than the Yankees, I think. Come on.
I would look at it as kind of a rebuild sort of season at this point.
Thanks.
I mean, you almost got it. All right. So
Thanks,
just to close up, I do want to mention that the Seattle Aces swept Las Vegas, or not Seattle Aces. What is it?
Oh, the women's NBA?
Yeah, I forget. Storm? I forget.
Storm.
Yeah. So they swept the Las Vegas Aces, 92-59 in their final game, which is the biggest in WNBA Finals history.
I did not know that.
Brienne,
And what about Jimmy Butler being a freaking super freaking star?
yeah, no doubt.
I was supposed to work last night, but nope. Jimmy Butler said, "Hey, Craig, why don't you work Sunday night?"
Yep.
So thanks, buddy.
That's what it was.
So I got to do the same shit on Sunday night.
Nice.
So I'm watching the game at home, the Jets and whoever the hell else is playing. I don't care really again. But,
Yeah, you do. Stop it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you see.
No, I care. I care. Trust me, I care. I don't care for staying up till midnight. Anyway, story for another day.
You care.
What do you guys
I'm
do?
curious.
We're signing off. Leave me
Yeah,
on.
Actually, what's coming up on week 4?
Oh,
Right? Don't we have a guest star next week?
yeah, we
Oh, yeah, for that. So
Our first one?
we do, and there's a couple things with that. So the first part, I want to, give a shout out to the Support Connection, so supportconnection.org, which runs out of Yorktown. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as you guys know, and they do a lot of support for those that have breast cancer and ovarian cancer and their families. So definitely give and donate, or at least check out the site. Again, it's supportconnection.org. So definitely, we have a chance to check them out.
Yeah.
They do good stuff here in Westchester County. The other one is we do have our first guest next week, Chelsea Nuratan, and she'll be coming on showing us some products that she's been making from scratch, starting her own business on the side as well. This fits right
that'd be
into
good.
the breast cancer awareness
Yeah,
stuff.
that'd be good to see her.
What we're saying. So
Absolutely.
those are two good
Are we going to
things.
be back at the Peekskill Brewery?
Peekskill Brewery, we are, yes. So as
I
we
think
said
so.
before, we're here.
Unless we're still here, because that could happen.
I might just drive up tomorrow today. I'll be able to.
Yeah, we got room for you up here. So
Yeah.
big shout out to Elise and Rob for giving us all this space here and being the greatest host of all time.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic.
Listen, we don't want any of you to ever come to Beaverdale because we want it for ourselves. But if
Yeah.
you're going to go somewhere, come to Beaverdale.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have prime rib coming out of their oven in about 20 minutes. I'm looking
Nice.
forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Phil's London Broil.
Oh yeah, it's about to happen.
Yep.
Some sirloin tips
And-
are coming.
Yeah.
So just one quick mention out there for the Rangers' #1 draft pick was Alexis Lafreniere. He's Canadian, 18 years old, 6'1". He was getting 21.5 points a game, or not 21.5, 2.15 points a game, which is like Sidney Crosby level. So
Yeah.
the Rangers had a real important pickup this week. It almost guarantees that they're going to be a more competitive team next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
We
But
will. And you know what? On behalf of myself, Buffalo Jack, Phil, Brian, Craig on Zoom, peace, love, and respect. We're out.
Love you guys.
bye, guys.